one, Azure and on the cloud side majorly. Okay, so let me share my screen and we can get started. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to the session of Azure Data Factory. In this session, we are going to talk about how you can get started with Azure Data Factory. What is Azure Data Factory? And we'll try to see some sample demo also, like as a basic one, how you can make it. So already what is Azure fundamental we have covered. So if you are interested, you can go through. We have a recording also available, or you are interested, then you can join upcoming session. But today we are going to talk about Azure Data Factory. Okay, so before getting started, let me introduce myself. Myself, Diksha Sharma, and I am Microsoft certified trainer, and also I'm certified data engineer, DevOps engineer, and cloud architect, Azure architect side. I've done a couple of certification, as well as my key domain are on data engineering, ETL, ELT stuff, and your big data or your data visualization side. So moving further, let's talk about in this session we are going to understand two things. First of all, how you can do data integration with Data Factory, or how you can do code free transformation. So these two things we will discuss in detail. So first of all, let's understand what is Data Factory over here. Okay. So if you see in this case, Azure Data Factory, that is yes, Azure service. So right now, if you are going to work with any data, the key thing is like you need to do data ingestion. Okay, as a data engineer or as a data analyst. Okay, as per your job profile, you need to work around the data. So if I talk about the data factory, so the very first thing is like whenever you will see data, you need to do data ingestion, data orchestration, data processing, data transformation, data movement. So couple of operations you need to perform. So for that, only a storage or database will not be sufficient, because database where you are going to store your final data. Okay, storage where you are going to put your raw data. But how you are going to move your data from one location to another location. Okay, how you are going to copy your data, how you are going to transform your data. Okay, so that how you can do. For that we need one intermediate tool, that is your ETL or ELT. Okay, any of the thing you can do. With the help of that you can do ETL or ELT. Now as we understand what is ETL and what is ELT, ETL stand for extract transform load, and ELT stand for extract load transformation. So the very first thing so the very first thing is like you are going to extracting your data from your source. Okay, and then as per the requirement, if you want to do some transformation, you are going to do apply some logic and transform your data, and then you are going to load your data. So either you are doing ETL, where you are going to extract your data from source, transform it as per the requirement, and load it in the destination, or you are going to do ELT, where first you are going to extract, then you are going to load, and after that you are going to do transform. So again, it depends what is your scenario. As per that, your requirement will change. So that's how you need to use this service. So first of all, yes, Data Factory is code-free ETL and ELT service. What does this code-free means here? For any transformation, for any extraction, you do not need to write down any code. Okay, so Data Factory will give you code-free environment. So generally, it was when you are a data engineer, it was expected, okay, that you need to do end-to-end coding. No, it's not necessary that only you are going to do the coding. If you are working in a Data Factory part, here no coding required. Okay, it's a code-free ETL or ELT tool where everything will be UI based. You need to go configure everything and then use it. Okay, yes, but you need to build the logic on the data factory. So in the market, there are a couple of different ETL or ELT tools available. Like if you go with any cloud, you have a different options available. Like if you are going with the AWS, you have AWS Glue. That is also ETL tool. If you are going with GCP, you have a Google Data Fusion. That is also ETL tool. Informatica, Talent. Okay, these are also some ETL tool. So Data Factory is also similar kind of ETL or ELT tool, but it is a core service of Azure. It's available on Azure. Now, what feature we will get in Data Factory? So the very first thing is like here within Data Factory, it's not necessary every time you are getting data from Azure environment. It may happen that you are getting data from outside Azure or within Azure environment. Okay. It's not necessary that every time my source or destination both are on Azure. It could happen it is outside. Okay. So in that case, here Data Factory will give you multi-cloud model. Okay, maybe your source is available on different cloud and you are want to onboard it on Azure. Okay, you want to move from AWS to Azure or maybe Azure to GCP. So with the help of ADF, you can make your multi-cloud model. You can move your data from cloud to cloud, or you can make your hybrid model also where you are doing data ingestion from on-premises to Azure. Okay, on-premises I'm referring when you have your own infrastructure, like you have your own databases set up. So you can make your on-premises to Azure movement also you can do with the help of Data Factory. So Data Factory will support data ingestion from multi-cloud, from cloud to cloud, or outside cloud from on-premises to Azure environment. And what is on-premises private, that will come again in the fundamentals, so you can see. Now again, the next thing is here we have a 90 plus built-in connectors available. You do not need to install anything for connecting with any service. Like for example, I want to connect with GCP, I want to connect with BigQuery. So I do not need to install anything or any connectors in my data factory. So we have a built-in 90 plus connectors available in ADF. Okay, where you just need to choose, okay, what will be my source, what will be my destination, and then simply we are going to map it and load your data. So we have a 90 plus connectors available and you do not need to attach any server over here. Okay, no server attachment needed. And simply a quick wizard where you, as I mentioned, it's a more UI based where you are going to put, okay, what will be the configuration, and as per that you are going to use that. Second thing is here it is a code free, yes, but without writing a code you can run over here loop. Okay, like generally you will do if else condition, you will run for loop. Okay, switch cases you are doing in the coding. Okay, like if you're writing any code, C, Python, okay, any language, in that case you can run loops. Okay, for loop, while loop. Okay, or you can run cases, okay, conditions. So all the things you can provide over here also, but without writing a code. That is a bit best thing over here. You can run loop, you can run conditional statement. Okay, you can pass variables and parameters also without writing a code. Second thing, here you can do transformation also without installing anything. There are multiple transformation options available, like you can do lookup, okay, joins, or you want to do pivot, unpivot, okay, or you want to do some transformation, creating new column, selecting some specific column. So all the transformation also you can do under data flow. Okay, so that also options you have. Then later on, whatever ETL jobs or pipeline you have created, you can schedule it also. Like I want to execute my job or my pipeline multiple times in a day, or maybe on a specific day, that every day 10 a.m. IST it will execute. So I can schedule it. I do not need to manually run every time. So we have a couple of different scheduling option also available. Like I want to schedule to a specific day, date, time, or I want to schedule it for some interval. Okay, or maybe you want to schedule it for your specific dependency. So that different options you have for scheduling your data factory. Fourth thing is your monitoring. And when you are creating your pipeline jobs, in that case we need to make sure that, okay, your jobs will run successfully or it is completed successfully. So in that case here you can monitor at the end after execution also. You can see your history also, that okay, all the execution is succeeded, failed, or how much time it will take to complete full execution. Okay, so that monitoring option also you have in the data factory. Okay, so if we rehydrate what we have discussed over here, Azure Data Factory is a code-free ETL or ELT service where you are not going to write down anything. It's a more a visually based visualization basis where you have a UI. You just need to drag and drop and configure. You have a 90 plus built-in connectors available. You do not need to install any connectors for connectivity with Data Factory. Second thing, it is a maintenance free. Okay, it is a serverless and it is a PaaS solution, platform as a service. Okay, and suitable for both ETL and ELT. Okay, so this is like a high level idea about the data factory. Now let's understand, okay, what will be the key area on that you are going to use this. Okay, what will be the architecture of your data factory? So data factory is basically give you a data driven workflow where you can do data ingestion also, data preparation also, data transformation analysis also. So we have some transformation task also available, and at the end you can publish your data also. So data movement sets, so for example, here you have a couple of different sources are available, like you have a relational data, non-relational data. Okay, so you have a couple of different type of data available, so you can ingest it your data from different sources. Okay, and then after that, here you can make changes, you can do transformation as per your requirement, and at the end you can store your data in the database. Okay, so it will perform all the 4 steps over here. Now let's understand how it is going to work. Okay, what are the key components we have in data factory? So the very first thing is we need to, like, whatever is your source, whatever is your destination, or maybe from which service you want to connect your data factory, that you need to specify. Okay, because how your data factory will understand that, okay, from where to where I want to move data, okay, or from which service I need to connect. So yes, you need to first specify that, okay, what will be your source or what will be your destination or which service you want to connect. So for the first component we have, okay, so now we are talking about Azure Data Factory architecture. It means what are the key components that you need. So the very first component you have is the link service. Link service is something where you are going to provide all the details to connecting with any service. Okay, with the help of link service, you are going to link your data factory with your source, destination, or any service. Like for example, I want to connect with any storage. So I'm going to specify that a storage belongs to which subscription. I could have 10 different storage. So exactly which storage you want to connect. So I'm going to pass my storage name and the authentication. Correct? Authentication I am going to pass. So with the help of that, data factory is going to authorize and then establish a communication between your storage and data factory. So link service is basically a place where you are going to provide complete detail or complete connection detail of your service to whom you want to connect with ADF. Okay, so ADF side, you need to specify everything. Okay, that this is my source, this is my destination. Maybe I want to connect with database. So now what will be your server name? What will be your database name? What will be the authentication method? Everything you are going to provide in data factory. So in this case, your data factory is going to understand that, okay, this is my database name. Out of 10, I need to connect with this first database because the detail you are providing in the link service. Okay, so link service is the place where you are going to provide your connection detail. Okay, authentication of the service. Obviously, if you are connecting with any service, you need to provide connectivity option. So here we are going to provide the authentication method and your service detail. Any service, if you want to connect with any service with the data factory, first you need to create a link service for linking your data factory with the associated service. Then after that, here you can see it could be different. Okay, is a I can see like first is the data lake storage you want to connect. So you need to specify that, okay, my data lake storage belongs to this subscription. This is the name of data lake storage, and this is the authentication method that I want to choose. And then you need to link your data factory with that data lake. After that, your data factory and data lake both are able to connect. Okay, this is also individual service on Azure. Data factory is also individual service on Azure. So both need to be communicated with the help of link service. Same if you want to connect with Databricks, again you need to create one Databricks link service, and then with the help of that your data factory and Databricks are going to communicate with each other. Now that is your link service, and once you create a link service, second thing is your data set. What is data set? So now, okay, we have connected with the storage. Okay, we identify in the link service data factory identify, okay, out of 10 I need to connect with this storage. So once the connection is built, then specifically your data is available in which location that you are going to define at a dataset level. Like for example, within data lake, you could have like a different files, like hundred of file available. You have a different folders, subfolders available. So how data factory will understand that, okay, which file exactly I need to pick up and what will be the file properties. Okay, file type, file name, that property you are going to define at a dataset level. So in the data lake level, sorry, in the link service level, you are going to define your source or destination or your service property. Link service level, you are going to define your services level property, but here data set level, you are going to define your data property, like what will be the exact file name, file location, and file type. Okay, it is in which file format. Everything you are going to define at a data set level. So data set basically where you are going to point out to the specific location where is your data available. Because see, within storage also you could have a multiple folders, multiple files available. So how data factory will understand that exactly which file I need to pick up. So for that we are going to specify in the data set that, okay, hey, go to that specific location, pick up that file, and this is the file format. So that data property you are going to define in data set, and your service property you are going to define in the link service. Now after that, next thing here you can see if you have a different data, okay, that is coming. So here how you are going to perform some tasks. So that set of tasks we are going to refer as activity. Activity is nothing, just what operation you want to perform. You want to run stored procedure, you want to call like some API, you want to copy some data, you want to do some transformation. So what exactly task or what exactly transformation or maybe what exactly operation you want to perform on your data. So see, now this is my data and exactly what I want to perform on that. I want to simply copy it. So accordingly here you can use one or more than one activity. More than one as in like I want to copy it and then maybe I want to copy my data from a storage to SQL and then execute the stored procedure. So this is two activity. One is copying the data and second is running your stored procedure. So here you can put one or more multiple activities you can use and maintain the dependencies on that, and you cannot execute individual activity. Okay, like I want to call one activity, I cannot call, I need to put all my activity in pipeline. Okay, you cannot execute any individual activity. So for calling activity we need a pipeline. So pipeline is nothing, it just collection of activity. Okay, all activity will be placed within pipeline. Okay, so here at a pipeline level you are going to trigger. Okay, individual activity you are not going to execute. Like if you have a one or more than one, okay, it's not like for one activity you cannot place. Yes, for one activity also you need to create one pipeline, you need to put your activity in the pipeline, and then pipeline level you are going to trigger it. You are going to schedule, execute, monitor, debug, everything you are going to do at pipeline level. You cannot execute individual activity. And then once you are going to be triggered, your data will be moved from your specific location and the destination. And same at a pipeline level, you can pass some parameter as well, or you can call some other, you can schedule this also. Okay, that option also you have. So now we understand we have a couple of different parameters available over here. So here, if I show you on this page, if I'm going to execute the pipeline, okay, so in that case, this pipeline, because as I mentioned, scheduling, monitoring, execution, triggering, everything you are going to do at a pipeline level. So if I'm going to execute this pipeline is going to call your activity to perform. Okay, whatever activity you have put a one activity, two activity, three activity, 10 activity. So this pipeline is going to execute all the associative activity, whatever activity you have defined. And then whenever you are hitting a pipeline, it will call your activity, and then activity will take, okay, from where I need to pick up the data to perform the task. So the data location, you have data property completely you have given over here, correct? So here activity, like you are saying, simply copy the data. So from where to where, that property you have defined at a data set level. That okay? At data set level, these operations we need to, we need to pick up. And then when you are going to pick up your data, is I am authorized to pick up that data? Is Data Factory authorized to pick up that data? Yes, because authorization we have already done in the link service, correct? So authorization, authentication we have already done, data connection already. So that's why link service is there. With the help of that, it is going to authorize. So these are some key components that you are going to use initially whenever you are going to talk about your data factory. Link service is the place where you are going to provide your connection detail, okay, service detail, everything. And then after that, here data set, activity, and pipeline. Okay, so now let's see and perform this also on your portal. Okay, we'll see live also. But before that, any questions so I can answer? No, there is no data loss. Okay, all complete data is reliable. Whatever you are storing on the Azure, it will be reliable. Yes, we are going to do the demo now. Okay, so now we are moving to portal. Okay, so right now I'm on the portal.azure.com, and inside this one I am going to create first a data factory that we are going to use. So as we have first dependencies, yes, you need to have a resource group and subscription. Okay, if you are creating any service on Azure, you should have a resource group and subscription. I do already have an active subscription, so the same I am going to use. Okay, so this one I am going to use, I have active subscription. And then I am going to create a resource group. So resource group is nothing, it's just collection of services. So your each service will belongs to your any resource group. You cannot create individual service. So here first I'm going to create a resource group. So I'm going to put the name is this one. So this is the demo resource group I'm creating. And then it will be in which region? East to West location. Okay, so you have a couple of different regions available where you want to deploy your services, where Microsoft has already set up their data center. So you just need to choose, as we are in the public cloud. Okay, Azure is a public cloud. So in that case, here you can choose your existing location, or maybe in which region you want to deploy your service. Generally, we choose this location as per your requirement, from where you are getting more user traffic. Okay, what will be your nearby location? It will constrain all the things. So all currently we have a 60 plus region in 140 plus countries where Microsoft has set up their data center, and these are the location where Microsoft has already set up their data center. As we are on the public cloud, everything we are going to use on the Microsoft data center on Azure. So I'm using East US as a default location to deploying my data factory. Now tag is optional, but yes, as a best practice, you can define the tag. Okay, that for what purpose you are deploying. Like I can mention that, okay, for development environment I'm deploying this. Now next is the review plus create, and then we are going to click on create over here. So first I've created a resource group, and inside this resource group now I'm going to create one data factory. Okay, for our demo purpose. So right now this resource group is completely blank. So I'm going to click on a create and choose a data factory to be deployed. So as I mentioned, always resource should belongs to a resource group. So that's why we have created one resource group. And inside that, I'm going to create a data factory. You can see I'm choosing data factory over here. Now, after that here, you can see you need to, it is, as I told you, it is a mandatory provide your subscription and resource group name. You should have an active subscription, and also you should have a resource group. If you don't have, you are not able to create a data factory. So you can see it is a red mark. It is a mandatory thing that yes, you need to provide this under the project detail, under the basic tab. So first thing it will ask that, okay, your resource you want to create in any subscription or in which resource group. I could have a multiple, so I can choose which resource group you want, but I want to go with this. Okay, the one which we have created. Now after that, here we want to put your data factory name. So what is your data factory name? I am going to keep my data factory name is the same. Okay, so in that case, your data factory name will be globally unique. Okay, so it will not be used earlier. So something like that you need to. Okay, so this is the name I am putting over here for data factory. Now after that, again, in which location you want to provision your data factory. So it's not necessary that, okay, whatever location you have choose for your resource group, same location you need to choose for your data factory also. Again, it depends from where your client is coming up, from where you are getting more user traffic, and another thing is like what will be your nearby location. Okay, cost, budget, everything will come. So here you can choose the location, but I'm going with the default East US. Then after that version, so by default we have one version available. So Microsoft has launched in 2016 Data Factory with version 1, but we have some compatibility issue. So that's why in 2020 Microsoft has launched version 2 for Data Factory. And now version 1 has disappeared, only version 2 is there. So by default it will take the latest version of your data factory. Now next is Git. So if you want to configure, okay, your Git repository to take complete code of your data factory, you can configure your Git from here. Okay, you want to configure your Git, you can take it from here, but no, I don't want to configure my GitHub repository as of now. So I'm going to simply click on review plus create. Okay, so it will do final validation and the configuration which you have provided, it is fine. Then you can simply click on create, and then a data factory will be provisioned. Okay, so in the basic tab itself, I have given some basic detail like project name, subscription name, resource group name, my data factory name, and the region. Okay, these are some basic detail I have provided. And now we are provisioning our data factory. So now, meanwhile, it's setting up my data factory is deploying. Okay, so I can show you what I want to achieve. Okay, so here, okay, now my data factory is also deployed. So you can see we can click on go to the source. And now currently we are in the data factory. Okay, so in this case here, this is in the overview page. Like in other services on Azure, you need to do complete development over here in the portal, but not for this one. Here, complete development you are going to do in Azure Data Factory Studio. So here I am going to launch the Data Studio where all the operations, development, everything you are going to do. So now this is your Data Factory. The studio has been launched, and now you can see we are not on the portal.azure.com, we are on the adf.azure.com. This is your Data Factory Studio. Okay, so this is the one initial setup we have done, and then inside that, if I quickly walk through about the Data Factory Studio, in the left panel you can see we have a 5 tab: home, author, monitor, manage, and learning center. Home will be your landing page where you will come. Author, where you are going to create pipeline, data set, data flow. Okay, so this development you are going to do in the author page. We already talk about what is pipeline, data set. Okay, so here you are going to build everything. You can see everything, currently everything is 0 because it is a newly created. Then monitor, here you are going to monitor your pipeline runs and everything. Manage, here you are going to create link service and manage your data factory. Okay, complete git configuration, triggers, parameters, you are going to manage it over here. And then you have a learning center. Learning center, like if you're new and you want to get started on the data factory at your side also, there are some quick start tutorial, some pre-built templates, videos are available that you can take, use, and you can use it over here. Okay, so that is your learning center, that is the user Microsoft is providing for free, that you can go through and check. Now here, coming back to this, now we understand what first what is your requirement. Okay, and then we will try to create one basic pipeline. So if I again go to the portal, for example, here I have one storage. Inside this storage, okay, I have a one storage available. I'll go to the containers. Okay, this is my data lake storage. Okay, so generally I am not explaining in detail what is how you can create data lake. But yeah, here you can see it is a data lake storage, hierarchical name space is enabled, and it is a data lake storage. So we have a different type of storage available, like blob storage, data lake, file storage, table queues. So I have created one data lake storage. Inside the data lake storage, you have a flexibility of hierarchical namespace where you can create folders, subfolder, and apply ACL. So that's why I'm creating a data lake storage, and I have a couple of different containers available. So I'm going to create one container with the name of input, okay, and another container I will create with the name of output. Okay, so I have two containers available. Okay, two different location I have, input and output. These are two container on that we are going to focus, and it will be on today's date. Okay, so inside this input container I will upload my file. Okay, so I will see the, so we have a file also available, so I'm going to upload a file from here. So I have some couple of files available. So I want to take it, like for example, this person.csv file that is available over here, and I will simply upload it. So now input is my source. Okay, this input is my source, and then here I have one person.csv file available. I want to pick up this file with the help of Data Factory, and then I want to move it into the output folder, or sorry, output container over here. And the catch is here in the input side you have a person.csv, but on the output side I want to make this as a person.json. Okay, like basic changes I want to do, not very much over here. From input it will take person.csv, and then it will move it output in the form of person.json. So your file format will change. Okay, it will pick up csv file and then move it to json, and your file location also will be changing over here. So we have a one storage. Within one storage I have two location, okay, two container. So I'm not changing the storage. Within one storage I have two um, containers or two folders, you can say. One is the input where we have person.csv, and I want to move it into the output in the form of json, person.json. So I hope we are clear with the requirement, what we are trying to achieve with the help of Data Factory. This is a basic pipeline I am trying to show you. Now storage to storage we are moving our data. So if you see this diagram again, in this diagram what we need to create first, we need to create a link service. Link service means now right now my Data Factory is not available. Where is your data available? I have shown you, but not Data Factory, right? So how I'm going to explain this to Data Factory? I'm going to create a link service, and I'm going to link my storage where the input and output containers are available with Data Factory. With the help of that, my Data Factory will understand where is your data available. So see, now if I go again over here, and the very first thing I'm going to create a link service to connect my storage with Data Factory. So I'll go over here, and then I'm going to click on new, and then inside this one, see, okay, so let me go back in one more time. So here you can see I need to go to manage. Inside that you have link service option available. So inside this link service, as of now, no link service. It means currently my Data Factory will not able to connect with anything because we have not configured any service over here. So I'm going to click on new, and inside this new here you can see that, okay, these are different sources you have available. Okay, like you want to connect with Amazon S3, or you want to connect with any other like Apache, blob storage, SFTP, data lake gen 2, gen 1, Key Vault, okay, SQL, Cassandra, DB2, FTP, SFTP, okay, Hive, HTTP, MongoDB you want to connect, ODBC connection you want to do, Oracle database you want to connect, PostgreSQL, Presto, okay, REST API you want to call, SFTP, okay, SQL Server, Snowflake you want to connect, Spark database, okay, sorry, Spark Big Data, okay. So these are different, as I mentioned, 90 plus built-in connector. So same you can see 90 plus built-in connectors we have available, and you can connect with any other service. You do not need to install anything for connecting with these services. Okay, so we have a 90 plus built-in connectors available over here. Okay, so with the help of that, here you are going to choose which one is your source or which one is your destination. So in our case, we are moving our data from same storage. Okay, my source and destination are same, but this location is different. So in that case, I am going to map it with the data lake Gen 2. As I shown you, I've created a data lake. So I'm going to connect with the data lake Gen 2. Okay. Now inside this one, I'm going to provide my link service name is ls. ls I am putting alias as a link service. ls underscore Azure Data Lake Storage. And then here we are going to provide authentication type. So by default, it's set to account key. Okay. So by default, it's set to account key. So yes, we'll go with that. And then integration runtime is basically IR is a compute infrastructure that is going to provide to run your service. So we are not doing integration runtime in detail, but yes, if you are moving with the Azure, so you can go with the default one. So we are not changing over here, but just we are configuring your data factory with your service that, okay, what will be your storage name. So as I mentioned, currently input and output both are available in the same storage Gen 2. Okay, both are available in the same storage. So in that case, what will be your storage name? How data factory will understand? And again, we are going to specify that my storage belongs to this subscription and my storage name is this ADLS December 2022. Okay, this is the same name. You can see it is coming up ADLS December 2022. So that I have configured over here that, okay, hey, data factory, you need to connect with this storage that belongs to this subscription. And if you go and click on test connection, then after that you are going to validating that your data factory and storage are able to communicate with each other. Yes, they are able to communicate because connection is successful. Now we are going to click on create and we have created our first link service. Okay, as we talk about in the architecture, this is the first thing that you need to do. Okay, so we have created a link service over here. Then as our source storage and destination storage both are same. Your storage is not changing, only containers are changing. Okay, I'm not going from one storage to another storage. Okay, like it will be ADLS December 1 and then ADLS December 2. No, I'm within a same storage, I'm choosing two different containers. So that's why here I do not need to create one more link service. I can use same link service because obviously my data lake name will be same every time. Okay, so my data lake name will be same over here, ADLS December 2022. So if another also I'll create my source and destination both are same storage, but yes, location is different. And where we are going to define the location at a data set level. Here we are defining the properties of your service. Okay, like what will be the name and everything. So properties of your service we are defining over here. But property of your data that we are going to define at a data set level. So we can use one single link service, correct? Where we have defined our storage to which your data factory is able to communicate. Now moving back, as I mentioned, all development you are going to do in author. So inside that you have the option to create a data set. So I'm going to create a new data set. Okay, and then I will simply put choose, okay, where is your file available, okay, which one is the source or destination, okay, from where you need to fetch the data or where you want to store. So again, you have a 90 plus connectors available, so you need to choose, okay, from which location you want to pick up. So here in the data set level we are going to define that location as I mentioned. Okay, so here what is our source or destination from where we want to pick up, same from the data lake. So I'm going to choose Azure Data Lake Storage Generation 2. Now what will be your file format? Now here you are defining your data property, but link service side you have not defined the same thing, right? Here you are going to define your data property that, hey, my file format is CSV. It is a person.csv, correct? So CSV is the file format. We are going to click on continue. Now here you can see what will be your data set name. So you can put any name. I am putting input as a data set name. Okay. Now again, see, whenever you are creating a data set, the dependencies you are going to attach with a link service. Okay, and we have already created a one link service for our storage. So same we can use. Okay, we have already created one link service for our storage. So the same link service I can use it over here. So in that case here, okay, it is going to show that, okay, already authentication has done over here. But the path you need to define, a specific location you need to define over here in the data set. So I'm going to click on browse and I will see, okay, these are the list of containers that I can see. But where is my data available? So I need to point out to only that. As I told you, you could have 10 different containers. How data factory will understand from where you need to pick up data. So that specific location you need to point out with the help of data set. So in the data set now we are defining that location or defining your data property. So my data is available in the input folder. So I'm going to choose the input folder and click on person.csv and click on OK over here. And if I show you my data inside this one, here, if we go person.csv, this is my file. I'll show you your input also. So in that you can have 5 header, okay, 5 column available, okay. And then this is, you have a header and the 5 column you have, and total some dummy record you have 14 records you have, okay, 14 rows. So that you have currently available on this. So now in this case, I am going to choose this first row as a header. Why? Because we have a 5 column available as a header. So I'm going to check this box. Now after that, I'm going to click on OK. And then this time we are going to see, okay, that the first data set is created for your input. What we have given is, we have given that this data set is going to be run on which link service, and what will be the file path where your exactly file is available. So it will be under the input container and the file name is person.csv. Now this is the one we have set up for input. Same way I want to set it up for output as well. So I'm going to click another data set. Okay. And this time I'm going to create it for the output. But again, as my input and output both belongs to same storage, so I'm going to choose over here also your storage gen 2. Okay. Like here in the data lake, my data is available. Then after that, this time which file format we need? As I mentioned in the destination, we want to maintain JSON file format, okay, not CSV. So as of now, Data Factory is supporting these 8 different file format: Avro, binary, CSV, Excel, JSON, ORC, Parquet, and XML. So you can convert simply from any file format to whatever is given. Okay, you can handle zip, unzip file format and other as well. But in our case, we are going to convert CSV to JSON. So the source side I have defined CSV delimited text, and the destination side I am going to map it to the JSON. Okay. So now I'm going to click on continue, and here I'm going to put your dataset name is ds underscore output. That will be your destination. Okay, target dataset I'm creating. DS input is for your source input. Now this will be your target. Now here exactly in the link service, I can map it with the same link service because my storage name is same. Because at the link service level, only we have defined a storage name and the authentication. So the same one I can use. But now exactly where your data you want to put. Okay, for output, where you want to place your data. So this time I am going to browse and choose a second container, not input, because this will be your source, and destination will be output. So I'm going to choose this one. Okay, so output container, I have mapped it over here. That go ahead and put your file in the output container and click on OK. So I have created one link service because my source and destination is same storage. If it is different, you need to create two. We have created two data set also, one for the input and another for the output. For input, I have mapped the location, go to the input container. Inside this storage, go to the input container and choose person.csv. And inside the output, I have not choose, like I just simply choose output and not given any file name. So it will simply convert into JSON because I choose a JSON as a file format. So we are good till this point. Now we are going to create a pipeline. Okay, that will be your next step. Again, I'm going over here. Link service we have created, data set we have created. As I mentioned, individual activity you cannot maintain. You are going to create a pipeline, and within the pipeline, you are going to put this activity. So I'm going to create one pipeline, and I'm going to put my pipeline name over here is PL underscore input to output. Okay, and then okay, so that will be my pipeline name. So let me unexpand all the thing and we will discuss over here. So you can see when I created a pipeline, this is a pipeline. You can see icon and the name also I've given the pipeline. But here in the left panel, the activity tab has opened. So we have a set of different activities available that you can use. Like you want to go with a copy, okay. You want to do, as I mentioned, that loop and everything also you can run. So here you can see filter activity you have, for each loop you can run, if condition you have, switch, okay, cases, until cases, okay. Or you want to pass some variable, okay. You want to delete data after load, you want to execute a pipeline within a pipeline, you want to execute SSIS packages, you want to perform some tasks as per the failure, you want to take the properties of your data, you want to run lookup, you want to call stored procedure, you want to call some script, Okay, so couple of different activities you have available over here. You can call some other services also, like within Data Factory you are not going to write down the code, it's more UI based. But yes, you can write down your code either in Azure Function and you can call it through Data Factory, or you can write down your code in Databricks notebook and you can call it with Data Factory. So in our case, I'm going to choose only this copy activity because I just want to simply move my data from your input to output. Okay, so I'm putting the name also same, input to output copy. Okay, so here I'm using first activity, that is copy data. Copy data will do nothing, it will pick up your file from the source and move it. Okay, it will copy your data into the destination, that's it. So here you have a couple of tabs available. You can see in the source tab, if you go, it is going to ask you to the data set. Now you can link all the dependency we talk about. If I'm creating a link service, and after that, when we are creating a data set, it is asking to provide the link service detail. Now I'm creating activity, it is asking to provide a detail of data set. So now see, in the same diagram, whenever I'm going to hit the pipeline, it is going to hit the activity. Activity we are hitting, it is going to hit the data set. And data set is going to call your link service. Because at every stage we are configuring the dependent property. So data set I'm setting up for the activity. So now I'm going to call, okay, these are your activity. Copy activity is active, copy data is activity. And inside this one is your workspace. On the pipeline, you are putting one activity. You can put another activity also. So here for the source, I'm going to configure ds underscore input. And the simply for the sync in Data Factory, target or destination, we are going to refer as a sync. So for the sync, I am going to map it to ds underscore output. Both the side I have configured what is my source data set and what is my destination data set. Source data set is my sync, ds underscore input, where I have defined CSV file property. And sync side, I have defined ds underscore output, where I have defined JSON file property. And the path also different. If you want to access it, you can access it from here also. And if you want to preview your data, you can preview your data from here as well. Okay, so to make sure that, okay, here sample data will only come, you can see only 10 records. So this is same data which we have validated. So with the help of that, you can see we have configured your source and sync. Same data set which we have you created over here, same I am calling through activity. And this activity is placed currently in a pipeline level, and my pipeline name is this, pl underscore input to output. My activity name is this. So you can put multiple activities also, but currently we are putting only one activity in this pipeline. Now I want to execute my pipeline. So how can I execute? You have two options. Either you can do debug or you can go trigger. So if you are going with the trigger, you need to save everything first. So for saving, okay, without saving or without publishing your changes, you cannot execute. So first of all, you are going to publish your changes. Okay, whatever configuration you have done, you are going to publish it to make sure that, okay, this is something which you have, okay, that is the final one. And if you have configured with the DevOps, so the complete changes will be committed in your Git also. So now I want to execute it. Either you can do debug. Okay, debug now you can do, and you are going to see the result over here. Debugger, like whenever you are running a program, so you can do debugger. Okay, so same thing over here. You can see the output, okay, without publishing the changes. But in the trigger, you need to publish it, and then only you can see. So now I publish it, but I will go with the debug, and I want to see the output over here itself. So now here you can see my pipeline has executed. This is my pipeline name, input to output activity copy, and this is my pipeline run ID. So whenever you are running a pipeline, a new ID will be populated. And if I do refresh, now you can see it is succeeded. Now I want to see inside view, like here what is this done. So you can see it is in the form of JSON, that you can see it is reading the file, okay, from the storage. And then same in the destination side, if you see, it is pick up one file, okay, and 14 rows has read it, and it has modified. You can see it is mentioned one file has read and 14 rows has read and copied. But if you want to see in a visualization side, so in that case you can click on this detail option, and here you can see in detail that, hey, your data has moved from a storage to a storage, and 14 rows has read and 14 rows has written, because we have only 14 records, right? That is a sample file. So now let's see that, okay, it has taken this time, and then after that, let's see in the source side, we will validate our file also, that in the input folder. Right now I'm in the input folder, location is this. In the input folder, I can see person.csv. Now, if I go to output, that is the second one. Here also, I can see over here person.json. Why JSON? Because we have defined a JSON file format. So if I open this one, okay, now my CSV file has converted simply into the JSON. Now JSON is this one. Okay, you can see there is no header or column. It is a non-relational data or semi-structured data where it is converted completely into JSON. But if you see same on this, okay, here you will see in the source side, it will be simply in the CSV file format. So I will show you comparing both side. Okay, so this is your person.json, but if I show you on the this input side, now here it is person.csv. So both file has changed. Initially it is a CSV. Okay, it is a CSV where you have a proper header, okay, column available. Inside that you have a 14 record. Now here you have simply non-relational data. Okay, so as I mentioned, you can put another activity also, like I want to put another copy activity also. So you can make a dependency as per the succeeded, next will be called, or maybe I want to do some other activity as per the failure. So you can put multiple activities within one pipeline. This is activity and this is a pipeline. Your white workspace is your pipeline. So that you can do. Now here we have understand about your link service. Okay, data set, okay, activity and pipeline. What is so link service? First we have created a for a storage to understand, okay, what is how your data factory and storage are going to communicate. We have provided authentication keys, okay, for authenticate. Then data set, we have pointed out to the location where exactly your data is available. Then activity, what task I want to copy the data, that task I want to perform. Then pipeline is basically for executing. Pipeline is nothing, is collection of your activity. So now any question you can answer. If you guys have any question, any doubt, you can ask. You guys can put in the chat. You guys can put down in the chat if you guys have any questions. So in that case, I can answer. We have like that's why like last 5 minutes or 6 minutes I have opened the stage for you. Okay. So I hope everyone is able to understand the key component, what is data factory, okay, and the key component of the services. Yes, there are many more things, okay, that how you can do scheduling. So we have a couple of different scheduling option available. We have an integration runtime, okay, that we have not covered. We have a copy behavior. We have a set of different activity. So with the help of data factory, generally you will use this service for performing different kind of ETL or ELT operation, but you can implement like incremental data load, or you can implement like as per the size, or you are picking up the file, or slowly changing dimension you can implement, or you can make this pipeline completely parameterized. Okay, you can pass the parameters also. See, we have a parameters also options, so you can pass the parameters also over here. So within a data factory, it's a very strong tool. If you go like on an advanced level, here set of different operations you can perform. Okay, as I mentioned, from cloud to cloud or multi-cloud model. So in that you can see whenever you are creating a link service, if your data is available in AWS and you want to take it from Amazon S3, so now you are moving from Amazon S3 to Azure, so you are making multi-cloud model. But it is in on premises, then also you can set up. For that there is a dependency, you need to set up a integration runtime. Okay, so here also we have an integration runtime available. What does this mean of integration runtime? So here you can see integration runtime is that compute infrastructure are going to provide. Compute infrastructure means here like whenever you are running your pipeline activity, in that case, for running your pipeline, we need a infrastructure to be set up, as it is a platform as a service. So in that case, everything is going to managed by Microsoft. So here with the help of IR, you are going to run your pipeline or activity in different network. So we have a three type of integration runtime: Azure hosted IR, self-hosted IR, and SSIS IR. Azure hosted IR, if you are going in a normal public network or you are dealing data within Azure, you can go with Azure IR. Okay. Now here you can see if I click on new. So if your data and everything is available on Azure environment, you can go with Azure IR. Okay. And you are going with a public network in this case, then you can go with the Azure IR. Self-hosted, if you are dealing with the on-premises data, you need to onboard your data from on-premises or from private network, you can use a self-hosted IR. And the same if you have a Azure SSIS, if you want to execute SSIS packages on Data Factory, you are going to set up this Azure SSIS IR. So this is also one thing, and then scheduling part also one thing that we have not covered. But yeah, IR is also important things on the Data Factory perspective. So Azure Data Factory itself is ETL tool. Okay, it's not similar. It is in ETL and ELT tool. We have discussed in the first slide, right? It is a ETL and ELT service. Okay, so if you want to write down some Spark code, you can write down in Databricks and you can call it through the Data Factory. Okay, as I told you, you are going to write, you can write down code in functions or you can call it in the notebook. So you can simply call this notebook within your Data Factory. Okay, you can make a dependency, and here in the Databricks notebook, you can write down your Spark or Scala code and you can call it with the Data Factory. Okay, and yeah, any other question? So I hope we are good till this point. Okay, and whatever we have discussed on this about Data Factory or demo and the idea and the architecture key component, that I hope you guys get an idea. So from my side, thank you everyone for joining the session, and I hope you guys get an idea and try to implement. And if you have any question, any concern, you guys can reach out to me, and I will hand over to Surag.
Thank you, Diksha, for the wonderful session. And I hope you guys have learned something new today. And if you have, I think you guys are done with the question. Then we can wind up for the today's session, and the recording will be available in the YouTube channel, which I'll be sharing it after uploading, and the certificate of participation will be provided after 2 hours. If there is no other questions, let's wind up for today's session. Let me share and thank you all for joining again. And we have Azure Network again coming up on December 7th. I'll be sharing it shortly. And thank you.